Hello, I'm Greg Lamb with the Sleeter Group. In this video, I'm going to review FreshBooks Cloud Accountant software. FreshBooks added Cloud Accountant to its name back in 2012, but really, FreshBooks is cloud invoicing software. When I review accounting software, I always check to see if they have the accounting basics, which are accrual accounting, good control over the chart of accounts, and the ability to create journal entries. FreshBooks doesn't have any of this. What does this mean for small business owners? It means you can't fully use it to accurately produce profit and loss and balance sheet reports. Sure, if you go to the reports section in FreshBooks, you can generate these, but because FreshBooks only focuses on tracking income and expenses and not assets, liabilities, and equity, or in other words, bank accounts, loans, and owner contributions, the reports won't be usable without manipulation. So you'll need to take your FreshBooks data to other accounting software in order to verify the data, or take the information to an accountant who can. So, if FreshBooks can't produce accurate accounting reports, what can it do? Well, let's get into FreshBooks and check it out. FreshBooks' interface, whether in the web or mobile app, is friendly and simple to use. The web app has a lot of getting started videos throughout, which are both fun and helpful.
Hey there, I'm Christopher Sabat, voiceover guy and longtime FreshBooks user.
As you can see by looking at the Get Started list, some things you can do are create clients and invoice them, create projects and track time, and have a team of staff. All of those things are what FreshBooks excels at. Let me start by showing you what it's like to create an invoice. First, you have to choose a client. Since FreshBooks is cloud-based invoicing, the only requirement is that the customer has an email address. If by chance your customer doesn't have an email address, you can bypass this by putting in your own email address. One of the key features of the online invoices is that customers can also pay online. I've set up PayPal and Stripe as my payment processors, but you also have a variety of options like Authorize.net and Beanstream. Accepting payments online via multiple payment processors used to be something kind of unique to FreshBooks, but nowadays most online accounting software provide the ability to do this. But back to creating that invoice. The next thing you do is select an item to sell. Items can have descriptions, costs, and taxes associated with them, making it easy to quickly create an invoice. If you want the option to just bill for time, you can go to Add Line and then choose Time Entry. When you go to finish the invoice, you have limited options. You can save it and send it via email through FreshBooks, or have FreshBooks send it via regular mail, or as they call it, snail mail. With FreshBooks, you're forced into sending invoices through it, which makes it a bit of hassle for people to use if they don't want to do that. And why wouldn't you want to send your invoices through FreshBooks? Well, perhaps you want to attach documents to the invoice, or maybe you want to hand a paper copy directly to the customer yourself. There are ways to do this, but it's not as easy and simple like in other software, where you can simply save the invoice and then print or download a PDF. Of course, the reason behind sending invoices through FreshBooks by email is that it can provide tracking and payment features. So let's send this email out. The customer will receive an email with a link to the invoice. What's unique about FreshBooks' online invoicing is that FreshBooks gives your business a customized URL. Here you see my business is called Acco's Cafe. So when a customer clicks the link, it takes them to a customer portal. Most software require customers to create an account to access something like this, but with FreshBooks, it's not necessary. All you need is the email with the link. What's great about this is that your customer can see all their invoices, pay multiple outstanding invoices at a time, see a history of their payments, see and use their credits, and even dispute the invoice. What's nice about the dispute feature is that it provides a record and mechanism for a back and forth between a business and its customers. This communication system also works nicely for estimates, where a user can request changes. FreshBooks also offers recurring invoices. There's not a lot of fine-grained details surrounding the timing of invoices, but I think for most businesses, it would be sufficient. All activity, when invoices are sent through FreshBooks, is tracked, which is part of the appeal for using FreshBooks for your invoices. Out of all the online accounting software I reviewed, FreshBooks has the most full-featured online invoicing and customer portal system. Another solid feature of FreshBooks is its time tracking. Projects also fall under this as well, since you create projects that are assigned to clients, which you can have tasks for. You can either track time by logging hours after the fact, or you can use the timer to track them as you go. The useful thing about time tracking in FreshBooks is that the mobile app has the same features, and all of this is also available for staff to use. Once you log your hours for tasks, it's easy to bill them out to clients by generating an invoice. You can also bill clients for expenses that you paid for on their behalf. And that brings us to the expense capabilities of FreshBooks. Unfortunately, this is where FreshBooks starts falling short. First of all, there's no accounts payable. This means that if you purchase items from vendors that you pay for at a later date, there's no way to track these unpaid bills in FreshBooks. Second of all, has to do with how things are imported via bank feed. FreshBooks has no ability to match the imported bank transactions to those already entered, so you'll end up processing transactions twice. Now, there is a duplicate transaction detection system, but this is trying to fix errors after the fact, instead of doing things properly the first time. Another problem with the bank feed is that it can only import expenses. This means no payment or deposits will be imported. Because of this, no reconciliation of your bank account to your FreshBooks records can be done. So if we go to reports, you won't be able to trust the figures because the income and expenses entered into FreshBooks have not been verified by a reconciliation, and because FreshBooks doesn't track the asset, liability, and equity accounts. So the two key reports in accounting, the profit and loss report, which shows the profitability of a company, and the balance sheet, which shows the net worth of a company, can't be accurately generated. In fact, the balance sheet report is a DIY form that you'd fill in yourself. To help with the fact that FreshBooks doesn't have all your financial data, FreshBooks allows you to export your transactions via an IIF file into QuickBooks Desktop. We at the Sleeter Group actually have an article that digs into this feature. While the export sounds good, a major problem with the export is that the data is not reconciled. So whoever is working with the data in QuickBooks has to trust that it's okay or spend quite a bit of time trying to rework and reconcile the data. Perhaps with small businesses that only use a single bank account and credit card for expenses, this may not be too bad. But for businesses who have multiple accounts and pay for things personally, this could quickly become an accounting quagmire. If you use FreshBooks for invoicing only, it can be a great tool, but I have issues with using it as accounting software. It's simply not designed to function as accounting software, despite its name being FreshBooks Cloud Accounting. If the name was FreshBooks Invoicing, I'd be a lot happier. Putting cloud accounting behind the name confuses users. Projects, specifically billing out based on time spent by staff and contractors, are a strong part of FreshBooks. If that's the primary focus of your business, FreshBooks offers an easy-to-use platform. A bit of a disappointment with projects is that the billing out of expenses isn't handled in the best way. Reports can't break out the profit margin on projects after factoring in time and expense costs. FreshBooks also has issues on the accounting end, where data is both unreconciled and missing. So some reworking of data is going to be necessary to truly produce an accurate report of a business's financial performance and stand-in. But again, as an invoicing tool for client-based businesses, FreshBooks is a decent choice. For a detailed analysis of FreshBooks, please check out my ebook called Online Accounting Software: Finding the Right Match. And for more videos like this, please subscribe to the Sleeter Group YouTube channel. I'm Greg Lamb with the Sleeter Group, and I'll catch you on the flip side.